I think a life worth living, and this is the second thing from Don Juan, is that living takes energy. You know, it takes a lot of energy for your life to not work, doesn't it? I mean, probably nobody here, but people we know whose lives have not worked very well, they put an enormous amount of energy into cultivating the drama. Everything is a crisis. Oh my God, it's epic. You will never believe. You will never believe what happened to me. I was at Starbucks and they were out of the Pike Place blend. And they said it'll be 3 minutes before the next pot of coffee is brewed. Oh, it's like everything is epic. Everything is epic, epic, epic. Now, energy is infinite. This is what Einstein taught us. Einstein said E equals mc squared. It's all energy. And so what I know is when I give my full attention to something, I have all the energy I need. And I bet you every person here has had that experience. When you love what you're doing and you give it your full attention, time disappears. There's no time in that dimension that is love. And you're giving it your full attention. You have as much energy as you need to do that which you are called to do. One of the pieces, one of the aspects of this that we cultivate is courageousness. Not like courageous like Evel Knievel. I think that's more craziness, but okay. But courageousness is to look into my heart and say, this is where I have work to do. I know where I'm not suggesting, and Science of Mind does not suggest that anybody does like a little spiritual bypass. That you just drive by the church and get your aura buffed, you know? That we give you some tools here to do the deep spiritual work, and everybody knows where your work is to do, don't you? Anybody else feeling a little crucifixion before Easter hits us? Yeah, so you know where your work is, right? And so you have to be courageous enough to look within. Somebody actually said to me, I looked within, I didn't like what I saw. Actually, somebody said that thing. Well, look again, right? Because it takes courage to notice. It takes courage to practice. You know, people are terrified to look at those parts of themselves. There was an interview on BBC. This was some time back, and so I think I remember it correctly. Of course I do. Nothing is lost in the mind of God. I remember this correctly. And the BBC interviewer was interviewing Mother Teresa. She was with us last week. She's making an appearance again this week in my talk. And so he was saying to her, well, it's easy for you to be spiritual because, well, you're not really in the world. You don't have to pay taxes. And, you know, I mean, you just have your sari there, and you don't have to think about things. And after all, you're not married. And she said, wait a minute. She said, I am married, and I have to tell you, he can be very difficult sometimes. And so I remember in the interview, she held up her hand with the ring that signifies that she was the bride of Christ. That in her order, they all wear a ring because they agree to be married to Jesus. And so what that means for them, is how they lay down their life to serve the greater. Oh my God, it just makes my head want to explode. One of the pieces that he says we have to have is that we have to have a controlled folly. I like that, controlled folly. So you can't take yourself so seriously. You know, life is not all work. It's also play, but it's not all play. It's also work, right? And so a perspective of lightness. You know, if you don't have a perspective of lightness, you will go crazy, won't you? You know, I mean, we know these people who take everything so darn seriously. You know, and it's like, can you ever lighten up just a little bit? Isn't that a commandment, thou shalt lighten up? I'm certain it is.